Recently, I bought a 2004 Honda TRX 450R for 500 bucks. This thing is an absolute basket case, and it's been left in pieces. We gave it a good clean job, and it was starting to look promising that maybe this quad didn't have that many hours on it, and we might have got lucky. But unfortunately, we tore down the engine, and we found some serious carnage.
Oh my gosh, does that stink?
It looks like this engine was run with no oil in it, and the bottom end was completely roached. That's no problem though, we're here to restore this thing, and I was expecting to find problems anyways. In this video, we're going to tear down the roller and analyze the parts, and then we'll see what we need and make a plan for how we're going to build this engine to make maximum horsepower for the ultimate aggressive trail machine. We'll go over the color scheme and the build design so you guys can get an idea of how we're going to build this thing. And last but not least, we'll get our cylinder head ready to go to ship out to Oregon Coast Power Sports for some top-notch porting. I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to bust my knuckles tearing this thing down. Let's get into it.
What's going on, guys? You see this subframe? This is a crappy subframe. I was looking at this thing, and the more I look at it, the more tweaked I think it is. If you guys look, I tried to angle the camera back there so that you guys can see. The camera is angled up centered with the swing arm, and it might not be really visible from your guys' angle, but it is pushed this way. So I definitely think this quad was in a rollover. What I did is I got this piece of aluminum here. If you don't believe me, well, it says aluminum on it, so it's aluminum. Anyways, this side, this is a nice piece of square aluminum. Well, let's go over here, this one. This side is like nice and straight. And so what I did is I took the plate and I tried to kind of put it on here, and you can see it's nice and straight. And then if you come to this side, I mean, I can visually see it, that this is bent. It's curved in. But when you put the plate on here, same thing. It might be kind of hard for you guys to see, but there's like a maybe 2 millimeter gap in the middle here. So there's a belly there. But the worst part is, if you come back here, look at this piece of crap, man. If you look back, this you can see that this is like, it's not square, and it is supposed to be square. So if you take this aluminum and we line it up with this flat bar in the back, which is supposed to be perpendicular, like a plus sign to, you know, this bar and this bar, well, look how freaking far off it is. So that's square with the back, and look, this side, it's so crooked, it's almost covering the bar, and you can see this one sticking out. So no word, there's no doubt, man, it's bent. So you may be asking yourself, well, Mike, why did you just spend all that time telling me that the subframe is bent? You could have just said we're replacing the subframe. Well, you're right. So we are, we're going to swap this out. It's less than 100 bucks for a new one. I was going to try to straighten it out, but we will, one, bending it will be making it weaker, and two, I just don't think it's worth it. And if we start prying on this and bending it and stuff, it's possible that we could bend the mounting tabs on the main frame. For under 100 bucks, not worth it. We're replacing it. Let's tear this thing down. Now, I've torn down quite a few quads in my day, and I've done a lot of stupid things. So I'm going to try to do this a little bit smarter than I normally do. And remember to get the freaking axle bolts off before we do the rest of this, because if you don't have leverage removing these big-ass axle nuts, you can really be hurting yourself. So I kind of have a feeling that this one isn't going to be as stuck. I just have this feeling, but who knows? You know, this axle nut I don't see like any marks on it, so it's possible that this axle nut has never been removed. So I've got the big-ass wrench here. We'll see if we can get it off with this. And I'm hoping, come on, you bastard. I'm hoping that the rear brake still works so that we can hold it. Yes, it does. And we're going to use the I don't have a friend to help me technique by using these clamps, which are freaking awesome. I love these things. Super cheap. You can pick them up at Harbor Freight. And they just have so many uses. We're going to use a board here to help us out. We'll wedge this up against the frame on this side. That's going to give us a nice square spot where we can put the clamp on the brake. And you know, that's just as good as a human being. And it never talks back or anything. It'll just work. And that's really what we want in an employee, right? Yeah, that's right, Bremen, you're a great employee. And it's even cheaper than slave labor, which is just a positive side effect of owning one of those tools. Oh, it moved, which is tremendous. I felt it move. Probably should have put some WD-40 or like PB Blaster on this last night. Let's get a leverage bar. You stupid axle nut. If you know, you know. If you've ever fought with one of these things, man, it can be a week ruiner, dude. Not even a day ruiner. That's right, bitch. All right, now if we can just get this stupid clip off of here, we will have beat the axle. There we go. And then this should slide off. Now these hub nuts, you can usually get these off with an impact driver, but I've had ones that are C's that I'm wishing I hadn't taken the wheels off. So I'm gonna take these cotter pins off and make sure that we can get them off. And the cotter pins look brand spanking new. I bet you these have never been removed either. Well, this one I pulled the cotter pin out and it's actually finger loose. So I don't think we'll have to worry about getting that one off. All right, let's see about this one. And I don't actually want to take them off. I just want to, oh, yeah, that's crazy. They were both like, this one wasn't finger loose, but close to it. But yeah, I just want to make them loose so that once we have a whole bunch of this weight off and stuff, we're not like fighting with super tight nuts, right? All right, we'll take our employee off here. You guys can go home for the day. At least I think. I'll call you back in if we need you. All right, now we can take this back brake caliper off. And I think we have a broken bolt. Uh-oh. If we can get this off, we'll be all right. Or maybe it's not. Oh, it's not a broken bolt. All right. No problem. Wow. Look at these things. These are resellable. In fact, these are practically brand new. If you look at this side, basically like a brand new part, and it's even got the little factory Nissan thing. I would bet that these are the OEM brakes, never once replaced, giving these an amazing amount of value. I would say like gold. In fact, if you want quality used parts, the best place to go is my quality Facebook Marketplace listings. That's right, guys. Finding quality used parts in today's economy is a nightmare. That's why I've relaunched quality used parts on my Facebook Marketplace. Tired of paying full price? Well, so's everyone else. With a 5% discount of MSRP, you can still get the 5% of service life like these brakes have in all of our quality used parts. Worried about shipping? Don't worry. It's a $99.99 flat rate fee on all of our products. $5 part doesn't matter. $100 part doesn't matter. Unless it's a large item, in which we'll add a 50% surcharge. Returns are made easy with a 30-day no money back guarantee. And yes, we accept all forms of payment. Call us now at 1-822-5555 or find us on the web at www.qualityusedparts/useparts/scammers/ please don't report us to the betterbusinessbureau.com.
Quality used parts, but for cheaper. You just might have to clean them and they may be broken.
Now we can get the caliper stay out of here. Uh-oh. Oh, our freaking drill is backed up against the sprocket. I don't want to cross-thread it back in there. Shit. Oh, that could have been bad. Now, unfortunately, I think we're still going to have to use the sledgehammer to get the axle out of the carrier. So I'm going to put a little bit of penetrating oil on the splines and just around where the axle goes through the carrier. And we'll work on something else, let this oil do a little bit of work. All right, let's get this. Come on, you son of a bitch. All right, let's get her on the old Tusk scissor stand and make sure the front end is good and loose. There's nothing wrong with this front bumper, dude. It still works. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Speaking of good used parts to sell, this bumper, it's one of them. Oh yeah. Now we'll get these wheels off. I saw people in the comments saying to reuse the wheels, polish them up, but there's a couple bends in them. I think they're straight. Like they'd be okay to actually use. But like for what we're doing, we're going to restore this thing. I don't want bent rims. You know, of course we could straighten them out, but they're not the offset that I'm looking for. It's actually not that bad. This one's good anyways. You know, actually these aren't that bad. There's two little dings right here, but these are not bad rims. Front brakes are not as bad as the back brake. It's always a good sign when you see the little plastic pieces and stuff. That's a sign that probably hasn't been, you know, torn down a bunch of times and stuff. Usually shit like this is either broken or missing. Sometimes these damn cotter pins are such a pain in my ass. Bitch. Look at that. Don't even have to put the hub puller on there. The seals worked. It looks good. Actually, it looks like somebody replaced these seals at some point in time and they put the seals in backwards. I could be wrong, but as long as they worked, that's really all that matters. These discs are actually in really good shape too. You can see all of the like scoring marks and stuff, but there's barely a lip here. Like they're actually, the thickness is still really good. I probably wouldn't replace these if we weren't restoring the quad, but you know, I've seen brakes in a lot worse condition than that. We're still gonna replace them though. Now hopefully we can get these hubs off. That is so nice. You would never guess that these were gonna come off that easy. When you look how rusty these are, this is great. So far, this is awesome. Psh, did not expect that. Ugh, nice. Yes. Very unlikely that this would happen. Look at our tie rod is finger tight, but I think that these look like they're fairly new. These tie rods, somebody just replaced these or replaced them towards the end of its life. All right, now I've got the ball joint split tray. This thing it's really a must-have tool. Let's see if we can get this in here. It usually saves the boot. It's pretty nice. Not that it matters. We're not going to be using these A-arms, but they'll be, well, actually, I don't know if these are resellable because I think they're a little damaged. It's okay. There we go. And then this will, as we tighten this bolt, it'll open this up and clamp that down, and it should push that ball joint right out. Now, I'm just expecting this to fall off since everything else has just come off real easy on this. We could probably boost the quad up a little bit, but I'm stubborn. You know. There it goes. You can see what I mean, man. Like, why would you ever not use this tool? People like smash them with hammers. You know, when I was in high school, I used to part out machines. And it's also good to put a little bit of oil on these threads, like every time you use it. It's just good for the tool to keep it alive a little bit longer, saves the threads. But yeah, I used to be like smashing them with a sledgehammer. And then I found out what a pickle fork was. And I was like, man, this is the best thing ever. And I'd always be destroying the ball joints and stuff. And the pickle forks aren't always easy either. You're like, you know, you're putting the fork in there and you're bashing that shit. And this is like, once you use one of these, it's like, wow. Like, you can never go back. I'll have this linked in the description below, as well as any other tools used in the video. I do that in all my videos, guys, if you're ever wondering. But, oh, this one like popped back on. Are you kidding me right now? Beautiful hub. Knuckle, all right? I know, I said the wrong thing. I hate when people do this. They use the tapered lug nuts on rims that are not made for tapered lug nuts, and they put them with the tapered side inward, and it like jams. It makes it so that the rim is stuck on the hub. Not the end of the world, but man, it can be really annoying getting them off of the hub. Might be easier to just take the freaking hub off and then hammer it. Jeez. See what I mean? It goes in and it puts like a groove into the rim, and it pushes in up against the threads. Just annoying. Jeez. Yeah, we were never getting that off. Man, imagine changing this wheel trail side. Oh, oh. There you go. Bitch, you can see the aluminum fragments stuck in the threads, so I'll have to get them out with a pick. Just, what the f***? All right, now by the grace of God, this axle will just blast straight on through. I've got the nut threaded on in reverse over here to hopefully, so we don't mushroom over the axle. I do have a tool if we really have to smash this thing hard, but this thing can take some good hits before it gets deformed. Let's just see what happens. If it's like the rest of this machine, it should just pop right on through. Oh, yes! Yes. Most of you guys probably know, but this is like such a treat, dude. When a teardown is this easy. I guess it's not over yet, but you know. Okay. Dude, that was one of the easiest axle removals I've ever done. Whew. Hell yeah. Now we've got one more stickler, and that's this stupid swing arm bolt. However, the engine was removed from this thing, and the spacers are not seized on it. So I don't know when the engine was removed from this thing. It could still be seized, but I have a feeling it's going to pop right out. If we get this thing out, then we've beaten the quad. We win. Come on, damn wall. All right, here we go. I think this thing is just gonna pop right on out. Yeah. Easy. What do they say? Easy as pie. I'm gonna leave it in there until I'm gonna take the shock bolt off and the lower linkage. But basically, this quad's done. So very easy teardown. I'm very pleased with this. The rest of this machine should tear down fairly easily. All those points that we addressed are the sticky spots that are sometimes a major pain in the ass. The biggest being the axle. Very, very happy that this thing just slid right out. You know, this might not even be a straight axle. I think it is, but because it looks like the rest of this thing was in a crash, who even knows? So I'm probably gonna be getting an aftermarket axle anyways. But just, yeah, really happy with that. So I'll have to test that axle out and see whether it's resellable or not. So the rest of this I'm gonna tear down on my own, and then we'll take a look at the parts. Well, dude, the frame looks to be in really good shape. I don't see any broken tabs or anything, other than there was one little, it was, where the heck is it? I think it goes right here. There was a little thing right up here. That might not be the spot, I'm not sure. But it was one of those little bendy ones, and it was twisted away, which is okay. That's not really something we need. We can just use a zip tie. Everything else looks really good. These little tabs here, I'm gonna straighten out. Those look like they're bent. No major damage though. It appears to be good and straight. Even the underside looks good. So I do think we're good there. The subframe, this will be going straight in the trash, or it'll be resold on eBay, and we'll say that it's straight. Yeah, right. We're not going to actually do that, guys. The rims actually look very good, too. This is the worst one of the bunch. You can see over here, there's some little bit of some denting up, but nothing that really I think would affect like the performance. So I do think those rims are resellable. The handlebars, I think they're actually straight too. It's kind of hard to tell, but they're not really worth too much. And I'll have to roll the axle and stuff, make sure that that's good. The Nerf bars are actually really nice too. And check this out. I mean, I don't think these really probably had too much time on them, because again, like usually these little loop things are bashed, or there's some kind of scuff or something. I mean, Nerf bars get beat up pretty quickly, man. You know, they take a lot of abuse. Shocks, good shape as well. Probably I'll be rebuilding that rear shock, and we can put like a dual spring kit or something. The front shocks though, I think we might run some aftermarkets. The upper A-arms are still good. Lower A-arms are both shot, unfortunately. These brand new tie rods, it looks like somebody had just put these on there. But, you know, sadly, these sat for so long that there's dry rot on the boots. I think I actually have a set of boots for these little replacement boots, so I could probably put replacement boots on them and then at least have the tie rod ends. They'll be good. Then we've got the rear brake, hubs and knuckles. We've got our linkage there. That might be something that we change up. And our swing arm. You guys let me know in the comment section below. Apparently updating the swing arm, even just going to the 06 Plus is an upgrade, but I'm not 100% sure. We got that grab bar is real nice. Brand new reusable chain. We'll definitely be using that or reselling it. And it's confirmed. The steering stem is definitely bent. And we've got the pegs. They're actually pretty roached. So I think we'll be doing some some kind of pro pegs or something, because that is critical in control. Over here I have all of the hardware and whatnot. This will be getting some fresh zinc coating. That'll be going right to Moto Blast. Those will come back looking brand spanking new. He does an amazing job over there. This is all the Vapor Blast stuff. This is the engine zinc plating stuff, and then we've got like the little plastic clips and cable routing stuff. There's a lot more stuff, like little things that I have to break down, like taking the bearings out of the swing arm and the hub and things like that, and even pressing the freaking studs out of the hubs so that I can have those zinc coated, and then we'll coat the hubs, and then you press in the studs, and it's like just going that extra mile that really makes it look like it's OEM, and it kind of like separates, at least in my opinion, it makes it really detail oriented. So I have a gusset kit that I ordered for the frame, so I want to weld that in. Unfortunately, it is not here yet. I'd like to do that in this video. Well, I don't know if it's going to come in time, but that's what she said. But anyways, let's hop on the computer and we'll go over the color scheme that I've had worked up for this thing and the build ideas, you know, for how we're going to do this engine. I have been doing my research and I've been reading a lot of your guys' comments. I really appreciate it. There's like 400 or 500 comments on the last video. Really appreciate you guys doing that. That helps the video out so much. And I've also been looking at your suggestions and whatnot for what to do with the motor work and whatnot. So let's hop over to the computer. Power Sports Nation and Partzilla are both sponsors of the channel, and it's where I get most of my parts from. Partzilla.com is my go-to source for OEM parts. They've got online schematics that make finding the part you need easy. They've also got you covered when it comes to gear like helmets and boots, any kind of oils and lubricants that your machine might need. Partzilla has quick shipping, and all orders over $150 ship for free. Now, if I'm looking for parts for a side-by-side like this Can-Am, or for a utility ATV like a Sportsman, my go-to spot is going to be PowerSportsNation.com. If you don't see what you're looking for on the PowerSportsNation.com website, make sure to call in and let them know, because they're constantly getting new parts in every week and they just might have what you need. All parts come with a warranty and every order ships for free. I've been using Partzilla.com and Power Sports Nation for years, and I'm comfortable recommending them to you guys. If you're looking for a way to support me, the best way to do that is by using the companies that support what I do. Links to PowerSportsNation.com and Partzilla.com will be in the description below, as well as any other companies that are helping out with this 450R project. All right, let's get back to the video. All right, guys, it's computer time. On the screen here, I've got the TRX 450R, a beautiful OEM picture of a 2004 in the original color scheme. This is probably exactly what our 450R looked like when it was brand spanking new. Now, I've already gone ahead and traced out all of the parts of this machine. If you guys have seen me do the design videos before, you probably are familiar with this. I'm not going to show how to do it, but I already did the work behind the scenes, and now we can manipulate all of the colors and whatnot. First things first, I want to superimpose a couple of the parts on there that really affect the appearance of the machine. We'll go to the top here, and you can see these layers. I've got them turned off. This one that says front wheel, we've got rear wheel. So if we turn on rear wheel, boom! You can see I've got that Kaiser wheel. Looks like it's just supposed to be there. And then for the front rim, I've got a good old Douglas. It's a blue label in this picture, but I'll probably do, I think the red label is the 0.190, which is the thicker aluminum. We want to have some strong rims. We don't want the thin ones for, like, you know, riding on sand and stuff like that. We don't want to be dinging up the rims, or at least want them to be durable. So that's the parts there. And the other thing that I added are the shocks. I was thinking to do the Fox floats because I really like how light they are. They're super lightweight. I don't know if we're going to be running them or not, but I thought it'd be cool to put them on the picture here. We will go down now and turn all of the parts on that I traced. So we'll do the front fenders, and we can color them too. If we turn this on here, we can go to hue and saturation and check this out. We can change the color however we want. It's actually really satisfying to do this, and options can make a tyrant of us all. They can definitely make a tyrant of me, where I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the colors and I'm like, man, that looks really good. That actually looks good right there. If you guys have seen the newer Hondas, I was actually in a dealership recently, and on a lot of their utility ATVs, this color just about exactly they have on a lot of their machines, and I really like it. It's like a lime green apple. Got the main frame, and you can see I've already made it red. We can turn that color off too, or same thing, we can change the color of that. And basically we have an infinite amount of colors. We've got the subframe. If you see back here, this little subframe part, we can click that, and I've got it in a dark gray color. And then we've got the rear fender. Of course, we don't want that to be colored yellow, so we're going to turn that off. We're going to be doing the stock red.
The bumper, right now, it's the OEM bumper, so there will be a different bumper on there. For this rendering, I have it, black. I think we're going to do chrome, though. Here, the Duncan Racing bumper. This is the same bumper that I have on the 250R. I had it on the Banshee also. I think it is the cleanest looking bumper. And I think we're going to do it in chrome, too. You can get it in black, but I think it's going to look good in chrome. Got our A-arms. Now, you're barely going to be able to see this. You can see the A-arms in there. But if we turn that on, you can see they are gray now. So now we've got some charcoal A-arms, same as the subframe. And then we've got the grab bar, same thing. You really kind of can't see it back there, but if we turn that on, that's going to be the texture black. That's a color that Bonehead Performance has. Absolutely love it. It's like a bed liner, and for grab bars and stuff, it really makes it nice for making it so that your hands don't slip. If we come down here, now we're going to mess with the engine a little bit. So the engine is completely stock in this picture, and you can see the little motor mounts right in here. And is there another one in the bottom? Yeah, this one right here. So we're going to change those. So we're going to turn that on, and you can see now they are bronze. So we can change those to any color too, but I'm going to be doing bronze. Engine case, we're going to change that. So if you look at this side case right here, boom, now that's bronze. So we've got some bronze going on there. So you'll see the seat's going to change. Boom. It's going to be a gray, like a medium gray to kind of match the charcoal subframe and A-arms. If we come down further, we've got the swing arm. Again, barely can see it in this picture. Boom. But it is back there. And now I have it gray in this rendering, but I think I'm actually going to do gold. If you remember the original Honda 250Rs, they had gold subframes, some of them, and they looked really, really good. So I think it'll go good too because we have the bronze. Well, it'll be gold or bronze, but I think it will match having the little bronze accents throughout the machine, and I think that'll look cool. The calipers, if you look at the front here, the brake calipers, we're going to be making those bronze as well. And then the hubs, if you look in the hubs in here, we'll turn those on, boom, and you can see they are now bronze too. And then the tank, you can see is black. The tank, I think it just looks really clean in the gray to match the seat cover, and that may be difficult to do. The 06 Plus fenders, they changed the style. You know, they made the headlight is kind of like more square instead of the, I forget what they call these. It's not the bug eye. A lot of people hate this headlight, but we're going to leave it. We're going to keep it OG. But there's no tank cover on the 04, 05, and then in the 06 Plus, they made a tank cover. But I saw that it's not that hard to modify those tank covers, and you can put it over the 04, 05 tank. So I'm going to see if I can find an aftermarket tank cover or a company that will make the tank cover in gray, because I don't want to be painting the tank. You know, it's just, things get kind of weird when you do that. And this right here is the rendering that we're going to go with. So I'm going to show you guys the contenders that I was working with. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, I did a number of polls on there. Here we are on the Instagram page. If you guys want to get like behind the scenes stuff and just like little updates and stuff, my Instagram is Sabo350, and I do post things about the builds on there. So, oh look, here's our Mother's Day picture. Hey mom. Anyways, yeah, so here's the first poll here. These were the original renderings that I made. Now, again, like I said, when you're messing with colors and stuff in Photoshop, I can be sitting there for hours and I can make like 100 freaking designs. So I kind of wanted to keep it like Honda colors, but, you know, make it unique also. So, and the other thing we have to consider is that there's only so many colors available for these plastics. We've got Meyer. They make aftermarket fenders for the 450R. They only have like a couple colors. In fact, we can bring that up. So they have the 450R, then they have the ER. And of course the ER has more options because they made that for more years. But like, let's go to this. So here's the rear fender, which we don't have to worry about that because we're doing red, so I'm actually going to do all OEM fenders. But just in looking at the colors that are offered, you know, this is what we've got. But back to the poll, like I was saying, I wanted to keep kind of Honda-ish colors. So obviously we've got black and red, our Honda colors, and then yellow. So I kind of threw this wild card in here. And unfortunately, on the computer version of Instagram, it will not show you the results. So that's okay because I made my own results. So this is the results of the poll. Number 1 got 168 votes. Number 2 only got 30 votes. Number 3 got 329 votes, which is crazy. Number 4 got 43 votes. Number 5 got 125, and the wild card got 91. I was really hoping that number 3 wouldn't win,
because they don't make great plastics. So I would have to go with like custom plastics, probably from Full Bore. And what do you know, that one like crushed it at $329, and it is a good look. And as I was looking through the comments of the winner, there were some salty MFers in there, man. So I posted the results here, and obviously there were a lot of people that liked it because it won the poll. But if you look down, people were saying Raptor 250 vibes, YFC 450 color scheme one, wild card would have been better. Like, there were a lot of people that were not happy with the answer. I had read a bunch of them. There's too many comments to go through on here, but I kind of agree. It does look like the YFC 450 color scheme that we've seen in the past, and I was like, ah, man, I don't know if we can do that. And I didn't really like this color scheme anyways, so I was like, you know what, we're gonna do a second poll. And in the second poll, I only had 4 options. So number 1 and number 2 are the same as number 3 of the last poll. This one here, I just changed the color of the frames. And for this one, here are the results of the poll, and number 3 won. So number 1 got 334 votes. Number 2, there were like 1,400 freaking votes, dude. I think there were 1,334 votes. So thank you everybody that voted. So yeah, number 2 got 147 votes, and number 3 got 507 votes, and number 4 got 346. So it was pretty close between number 3 and number 4. Obviously, people wanted the OG Honda colors, and I don't think I've ever done a build in red. So that's the color scheme right there, man. We're gonna do red. And last but not least, I wanted to go over the engine work that we're going to be doing, at least, or the plans for some of the engine work and modifications. You guys gave me a ton of feedback. I read through the comments. Even if I didn't respond, I tried to read through all the comments, and there was so much stuff on there. And from what I gathered from what you guys said, and from talking to a couple engine builders, we're going to go stock stroke, big bore. We're going to do a cam, some head work, and a big bore exhaust, and that's supposed, these 450Rs are supposed to respond to that really, really well. I made a post on Instagram about who to go for head work. I'm not gonna do the porting on this one, guys. You know, I have so much fun porting engines in the past. It's just such a blast. I don't have a flow bench here or anything. You know, I just basically remove flashing, and I'll open up the ports, and I can, like, I'm doing the best I can with what I got. And I've had decent results in the past, but I want to leave it to the professionals and have the head ported professionally. So I made this post here, and over and over and over again, people said OCP Utah, which this is his page right here, and his name's Jeff, and he actually reached out to me, said, hey, love to help out. And I got on the phone with him. Guy is super down to earth, obviously knows his shit, and I just really liked you know, talking with him over the phone. There's some people that are really arrogant, and people that, you know, you really kind of don't want to deal with, and I can tell he's not that way. Really sounds like he knows what he's talking about, and he's got a great reputation, and the 450Rs are one of his specialties. Here's a picture of some of his port work right here. Looks very, very good, and just because of his reputation and how he was on the phone, I'm really excited to work with him. So I have the cylinder downstairs. We're going to set that up and send it out to OCP. And we talked about how we're going to build the engine and everything, and that's what we're going to do. The big bore kit with a 13-to-1 compression piston. We're going to do the stock crank. He's going to port the head. We're going to do a hot rods stage 2 cam. Apparently, I don't need to do studs, but I am going to get brand new OEM studs just to make sure that they're fresh. And I'm going to switch out the exhaust to a DASA. It looks really sick too. This is the one that I have picked out. This red color should match the color scheme perfectly. The Sparks pipe that we have is a good pipe, but for the way that we're building it, he told me that on the dyno, he sees that sign off kind of early on the RPMs. He said this should have really good power all over the RPM range and still rev out really high. So it's going to be an aggressive trail machine, and will probably, I would guess, be pushing in the 60 horsepower range, which will be like plenty of power for what I do, and in the trail it's probably gonna be more than enough, and you'll still be able to take it out and do some drag racing and stuff, and probably spank some MFers, you know what I'm saying? And then we'll be doing an FCR carburetor, a Vortex CDI. I don't know that there's any other aftermarket CDIs that are made for the 450R right now. And then of course you've got to do a clutch kit, because the clutch is completely roasted on that machine. And I think that's about all that we need to do for the motor work. Of course we're going to get everything vapor blasted, zinc coated and whatnot, and it's going to look like a brand spanking new engine. I want to find some XC A-arms, because I don't like wide quads. You know, maybe if you were doing motocross or something, but I found that stock width, I just enjoy riding. Like the Z400 is stock. That's like my favorite quad to ride. The Blaster is stock. I really like tight, nimble machines. I'm not about the wide A-arms. So we're going to go with XC A-arms. We'll see what kind of suspension we're going to do. I need to get a steering stem because our steering stem is wasted. We'll get some Hermosi anti-vibe clamps. I love those things. New plastics. We got to get a headlight. We're missing that. Heel guards and foot pegs. I don't know that I want to do Nerf bars. I've really come to like just having pegs and heel guards. So I don't know if that would disqualify me from certain like racing sanctions. You guys are going to have to let me know in the comment section below because I would like to possibly do a race with this at some point in time. So if I need heel guards or Nerf bars, maybe I'll have to do that. But otherwise, I'd like to do heel guards. I just think they look really nice. They have these heel guards right here that look pretty nice. They've got like the super aggressive pegs and just like simple heel guards. I think that's a really clean look, especially if I powder coated these red to match the frame. I think that would look awesome. So that's what I'd like to do if I don't have to have Nerf bars. And then this is just a number of like things that I'm gonna have to get. You know, grips, cables, handlebars, not the most exciting stuff. And I'm just slowly putting like the MSRPs and stuff in there. So far, the cost of the bike was $500. Cost of parts that I haven't ordered yet, just the MSRPs and stuff, we're up to $1775.88.
There is a pretty big appearance change that I've made since I recorded this, and that is in the wheels. I've decided to go with the S8 billet center sport quad wheels from OMF. These things look absolutely menacing. I kind of wanted to have like a sinister appearance in the color scheme when I was originally designing this quad, and this shark tooth style beadlock ring is the answer. I saw these things on the OMF website, and I was like, man, this is the way we got to go. So I got in touch with OMF, and we're going to be designing some custom wheels. I'm not sure on the colors. You guys got to let me know in the comment section. This gold in here, I kind of like that, the candy gold, and then maybe have the black ring, like something like this, but with the candy gold in the center. Or, I don't know, the red looks really good too. This definitely gives it like a sinister look, like this one right here, man. Oh, dude. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Those are going to be the wheels that we run. They should be pretty nasty.
That's where we're at, man, and that is the plan. You guys got to let me know in the comment section below what you think, if I should change anything, where I should get the parts, you know. That's what I got.
And don't forget, guys, I still have to design the graphics for this quad, so that's going to change the look entirely. But we got to get this head in the mail because we got to get ported so that we can get this freaking thing on the trails, because I can't wait to see, man. I'm actually really excited for this build in particular. I think it's going to perform amazing. So here's our cylinder head. I've got it cleaned up for the most part. I do want to look at the ports, though, because just from looking in, it looks like nobody's ever been inside here. So we got factory porting on here, and I want to have like kind of like a before and after. So first thing we got to do, though, is take these valves out of here so we can look at it. So we're going to use the Motion Pro valve tool. This thing is an absolute must-have if you're going to do any kind of valve work on whatever kind of machine you're working on. If it's a 4-stroke, it's just a great freaking tool to have, man. It makes things so easy. Thread this down like so, and then you literally just clamp this thing down. Man, those valves are... I think this stuff is just tight from being like... not... You know, nothing has moved on this quad probably for some time, but yeah, it pulls the springs down really easily, and then you can take your keepers out. I should get a magnet. There's one, and there's two, and then you just let this damn thing up, and it's real controlled. Pull our spring off, and then this valve can pull right on out. Man, that thing is... It's got some stuff on it. Yeah, these are like really tight. Oh my gosh. Man. Freaking thing. And we can thread this down too. Get them a little bit lower. Probably help if I use the magnetic side. There we go. Both of them popped right out. This one's tight too. Ow. Super stuck. Seems like once the initial seizure is broken, it's nice and smooth. All right, last one. That was probably the easiest one of all of them. And then these valve seals just pull right off.
And then we've got these washers that the springs sit on. Sometimes you forget about these because they're so stuck down there, it almost looks like it's a part of the head. And there are our ports. They don't look that bad. They're definitely stock, but you know, I've definitely seen some worse ports that come from the factory. So there she is, man. I can't wait to see what this thing looks like when it comes back. Got a nice big Power Sports Nation box here, and gonna use a lot of packing material, and I want to keep this stuff organized because I know that shit can get out of hand, especially at these shops when you got a whole bunch of different engines and stuff. And so I'm gonna put Sabo on these bags just to try to be as organized as possible. And I'm gonna include my cam tower with the cam. I'm not disassembling this because I'm not exactly sure what he needs to get all of that together. Oh, you know what? I almost forgot the bolts. And the reason that I'm including the cam and cam tower is because Jeff told me that he can shim the valves as long as I send this stuff, which I don't really enjoy shimming valves, if I'm being honest. So we'll include all that stuff. And then I've got a little bag here. I've got the shim buckets in there, the keepers and stuff like that. Put that in this bag, and then even though I'm sure he's not going to be reusing these valves, I'm just going to include all of this stuff just in case he wants to analyze it or whatever the case may be. Pop it in our box here and make sure that it's packed super freaking tight. All right, man, so this thing should make it to OCP nice and safely, and hopefully it doesn't get lost. So if you ever had something get lost in the mail, it sucks. Anyways, I appreciate you guys watching this video. Unfortunately, the gusset kit for the frame has not arrived yet, so we'll do that in another video. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. That helps me out tremendously. Please let me know in the comment section below what you think of the modifications, the color scheme that we came up with, and just the build plans in general. Everything is not set in stone just yet, so I still read the comments, and it's possible. It's pretty likely that things will change. So let me know in the comment section below. The comments help out tremendously in getting the video recommended on YouTube. So thank you guys for all of the comments that you've left so far on all the videos, and also consider subscribing for more content like this. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.